Hey friends, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody.
Rachel.
Hey, hey. Iris, I'm glad you're here. I want to show you an unsubscribe thing. I want to show you something.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Welcome. All right. And Dominic's here. Welcome. And
Good
Lisa.
morning.
Okay, good, good, good. So, yeah, I have a feature I'd like to quickly show. Everybody, and Iris particularly, was looking for this. What else do we have today that we want to cover? How are you guys doing? Tell me the quick and dirty. Iris, what else you got? I see you smiling.
Good, good. All is good. I have one quick question. When I delete a student, is there a
Uh-huh.
way I can find their information again without reinstating them in the course? Because I deleted a student that registered twice with two different emails because something really fishy is going on with this person. I think there was some misconduct in one of my sessions, so. I deleted it, but then I remembered I should have at least saved the data that he registered with so I can, because I'm reporting him in the
Oh,
platform where he joined from.
okay, okay.
And so now I remembered I didn't save his emails and phone numbers that he registered with and the names because he registered with different names, different email addresses.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Let me give you the quickest answer to solve this. Some of that information, just like an email address or more
Hmm.
than one email address, we will still have on the back end. So if you want to
Hmm.
drop me an email, I can get you that much. As
Okay.
far as like names he registered with, that is probably deleted at this point, and it would be an entire
Mm.
developer excavation project to go into to
Mm.
past records most likely. So
Okay.
um, I don't know about that. This is part of a bigger issue of how much information is kept though in the activity log, which is actually
Hmm.
something we've been working out because
Hmm.
when a student is deleted, there might be reasons
Hmm.
to keep activity. So I'm gonna say for the short
Okay.
answer for that, will you drop me an
Okay.
email and at
I
least I can
will.
get you some info? All
Okay,
right,
thanks.
fun stuff, the fun world of hosting courses.
This was not fun at all.
Congratulations on,
I had a very disturbing experience
oh
with this
gosh.
person.
Oh, I'm
So
so
not fun
sorry.
at all.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, it
Ooh, it's
happens.
something, isn't it? Putting your work out there is big stuff. Well, good for you for
Yep.
doing it. Yeah.
All kinds of people join. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. What else? Thank you for sharing that, Iris. What else do we have going on that we want to cover today?
I
Dominic, what
just
do you
want to
got?
share where I'm at. I don't have a
Yeah.
specific question just yet, but I I did I finally just got my subdomain and I've connected my Experienceify to my Go Plus, and I now actually have access to the course, which is blank right now because I haven't submitted my done for you stuff. I'm preparing to um seeing as it's going to be a while before I chunk it all down into the trainings the way it's eventually going to be. What I'm thinking of doing, and maybe I wanted to run this by you, is so I've currently run 11 people through a live coaching program.
Congratulations.
Some on live in person and some via Zoom. So they both work well. And what I'd like to do is at least put the deliverables on the course on Experienceify so that they can access it. Because what I've done right now is just manually given them links to my Vimeo videos, for instance.
Mhm.
And then I can sort of see what the course looks like in just smaller chunks, and then break down like the videos I have like an introductory video which they haven't seen, but that's ready to go. But the basic trainings are pretty much in one big video or two or three different videos, which eventually are going to be just divided each one into like each movement. And so I'm not quite sure how that's all going to look, but I wanted to just maybe get the team to put the course on so that I can then see it real life, and it might help me play with how I want to break it down. Um, and I'm just starting to see that I think it's going to be fairly easy to change things, like where module one may be a link to a whole video. I could eventually create module one and trainings one, two, three, four, five, break it down myself, or is it better not to do that until you really have a better structure in mind?
I hear what you're saying, and it sounds like I think this is one of those things that there's no right answer to, but it
Yeah,
sounds like for you, it's going to be helpful to see it. And the
yeah.
answer is yes, you can move things, and I can show you what that looks like, kind of how you can move things around. Um, Question about that or other? No.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at. I'm just now starting to see that it should looks like it should be pretty easy to move things around. And I guess in a worst case scenario, I can always create course two, which was really the same course, but better broken down before it gets published or something like that.
Yes, yes. And you can
And then transfer
duplicate
everybody over.
things, you can move things. There's a lot of flexibility if you want to
Okay,
have, yeah. The one thing to know on a technical level is as far as what the Done For You team does, they do one pass of uploading. They don't
got
do
it.
like,
Yeah.
multiple iterations for obvious reasons because
No, I
it would
figured
never end.
that,
But
that's what I'm saying. I know I'm going
right.
to be doing the multiple iterations,
Yeah,
and it's beginning to look like that's not going to be so terrible. And then it's great to know that I can join these morning meetings to figure things out because it's been very helpful. So here I'm just here today to kind of continue to get familiar with everything that's possible.
perfect. Yeah, let's look at that. We'll take a look at kind of the overview of moving things around and how you can set things up. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Great. And welcome, Lisa. Lisa, did you have
Hi,
any particular questions? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Just getting started this morning, so I just was like, "Oh my gosh, the office hours is today. Let me at least jump in and listen." I
Fantastic.
was wanting to just listen to see what everybody else was doing and how everyone's doing. And like one of the things I thought was helpful with the Done For You course when I did it not too long ago was that amazing spreadsheet where you
Mm,
drop everything, all the pieces in, and you
okay,
can
great.
see the granularity of where you have enough stuff and where you don't.
Mm,
And I thought that that was really helpful. And my course
oh,
went from 7 weeks, and I did put it down to 5 weeks, and then thinking of it in those 5 week chunks, and then breaking it down into like the deliverables that I used when I delivered it live or on Zoom. It flowed, and yeah, that was. I would highly suggest trying to just get them a good use what you have at this point to get them to put it in so that it flows in a way that you know works already, which is if
yeah,
you've delivered it, that's great, right? And then you can always flesh it out a little bit more intricately or take stuff out. But yeah, it doesn't like my coach was saying, it didn't have to be perfect. It
yeah.
just yeah, because I don't know about you, Dominic. I can overanalyze everything, analysis to paralysis. And
Yeah,
I just,
that's why I'm
yeah,
kind of getting ready to say let's just put it up there and start iterating it this way. I've been iterating it via the live experience, but I want to
yeah.
have something on there. And also, actually, a question just arose too. What I'd like to do, I was just looking at like the actions.
Hmm.
This is for Rachel. The actions, you have to place, have them do before they get started so that they can get some points and whatnot, obviously, to do the administrative things you want to get done. Um, One of them was like join our Facebook page, which obviously is common. I'm thinking I want to actually create, rather than a Facebook page, a community within XP because I have more than one client, myself included, not being really a big fan of Facebook, to keep it private and within just XP. And
Mhm.
that's a possibility, right? I just didn't see that yet in
For
writing,
sure.
but
For
okay.
sure. Yeah, that's definitely possible. You will um, create a forum space and just link to the forum space. That's pretty
And I
straightforward to
was
do.
thinking of doing what if since I have already 11 people who are interested in knowing what's next and all that, can I create a forum before the course is even published?
Mhm.
within the course itself, like the course, the only thing available in the course is maybe access to that
Absolutely.
form? Okay,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really easy to do because you can just, I mean, the short answer, just create a home page, put what you want on the home page, and don't put any links or menu tabs to get anywhere else. And that's all they got till you give them a way to get somewhere. So
perfect. Great, because they'll help me build it. Okay.
nice. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, fantastic stuff. Great, great, great. We've got some things to get started, and I see Christopher's joined. Welcome, welcome, Chris. Let me go ahead and start with, I want to show the unsubscribe thing. And Iris, was there anything else? No, the other thing was just the admin thing. Yeah. Okay. So let me first show this unsubscribe um, feature or response that Iris was looking for, and then we're going to look at organizing modules and trainings, and then we will go from there with whatever else comes up. So Iris was asking recently, how can I know as an XP course owner when somebody unsubscribes? Now, if somebody unsubscribes from all course communications, and just to make this clear, when your student clicks the unsubscribe link, which is in any email, that's by law, that's never going to change. They can always unsubscribe. And when they click that, they'll get an option that says, do you want to just unsubscribe from this course communications or from the school, from everything? If they click unsubscribe from school and you've got a Go Plus account, that is going to automatically mark them do not disturb in Go Plus. Do not disturb is Go Plus's version of unsubscribe. So you're taken care of there. Like you won't be, sending them unwanted emails. But Iris was asking, but how do I know so I can, manage that as I need and maybe make any other uh, considerations or adjustments? So here is what you can do. Is set up, and this will be within a course, okay? As is any automation. So if you have multiple courses, you will need to set one up in each course so that it applies to the students of each course. But here's what you're going to do is just create yourself an automation. So of course, I'm going to open the course up to build an automation. I'm going to go to step 5, my experience engine, and I'm going to create an automation for myself. And I'm going to start by create new, create from scratch. And my trigger is going to be right here. I can select unsubscribed from course communications or unsubscribed from school communications. Now keep in mind, if they have unsubscribed from school, that'll be synced to Go Plus and tag them as do not disturb. So you've already got them marked as do not disturb and Go Plus. But what you can do is select this as the trigger, unsubscribe from course or school. Just like any automation, we're going to set the conditions. I would probably put this one to as often as triggered because a student could technically come on and off of your list very easily or opt in and out. That's always doable. So it's going to be set up to run as much as it needs. That's our trigger. So here's my automation I just began creating. I'm going to, like always, I'm going to name my experience so that I can recognize it. Unsubscribed from course comms. I'm going to create my action in this automation. My action is going to be an email. And the most important thing about this email is that I'm not sending an email to the student, I'm sending it to me or to my VA or somebody else. So me will go to the admin account address on file. If I want it to go to my VA or a different email address for myself, I can just send it to someone else. And then I'm just going to create an email right here that uses the tokens. And it's going to tell me this student. And I'm going to fill this in. And this is going to get sent to me. Does that make sense, Iris and everybody? Is that helpful? Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so then because I don't know if they're going to unsubscribe from either the school or the course,
Mhm.
then I would have to set up two triggers, two automations.
But keep in mind that course will automatically set them do not disturb and go plus. And it also unsubscribes them from XP. So that's already taken care of. Like if they hit unsubscribe, they're unsubscribed. But as far as
Right.
telling you what's happening, like if you just want, like, I want to know exactly what's going on, bring it to my inbox and let me know. Yes, you would know, you would need unsubscribe from course, this person unsubscribe
Um,
from school.
mhm. Yeah, because I think when somebody unsubscribes, there's two things that are important to happen. Number one, to get a tag so that I can always filter for unsubscribed students.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, to know, to be notified that that somebody has unsubscribed. And
Mm-hmm.
three, to possibly send them a message, you know, like sorry you unsubscribed or something, just like a
We
goodbye.
got your unsubscribe. Yeah, we processed it.
Right.
Right. Yep. So
So you can,
let's
so you
think of
would
how we
need
would
to
set
do,
that up.
yeah.
Yeah. Oops. I'm just naming all these for myself. So I've got the email for myself. So here's my automation. Of course, I'd want to make sure to turn everything on when I'm ready. But in this automation, I've already sent the email to myself. I can also add a tag. Or unsubscribe from this course with the course name. And then I can do another email that is sent to them that says, we received your unsubscribe. Does that make sense? Oh, well, awesome. Cool. All right. Let's look at setting up we're going to look at organizing modules and how you can move things around. And welcome, Chris. I'm just seeing colleagues have noticed my automations toggle off on their own. Currently experiencing where the automation is on, however, emails are not firing. Okay, so Chris, for something like this, we're going to need a really specific example to have you send to the support desk, because here's the truth. Troubleshooting automations in the past is a tricky thing because we can't see all of the factors that might have happened, like when you might have actually turned things on or off or changed things. And some of these turn out to be user error. Occasionally there does turn out to be a bug, but to be able to troubleshoot that, we will need a really specific example. And I'll show you, I'll give you exactly where to find the list of what the team needs to take a look at what's happening. And I also would love to just look at troubleshooting in general, because this is a really, really important thing as you start building out automations, is to understand how to work with them and how to troubleshoot them. And the good news, coming very soon, feature I'm really happy about. We're going to have an AI tool that is going to help you look at your automations and determine exactly what happened when something didn't fire as expected. It's going to be able to look at your course, your history, and say, either actually, Rachel, when you switched on this automation, you didn't have the tag assigned to the student yet, so that's why it didn't run. And it'll be able to look through and make your life much more easier. But I'm going to show in a moment how to think about all this, how to approach it without making yourself crazy, and how to sort out what's happening. But first, I want to take a look at modules and trainings and how to organize things. So Dominic, just to make sure I understand, we're kind of thinking broadly about you've got a bunch of content, you want to just get it out and going. That's one of the benefits of the Done For You, is just kind of to get it into the world and going. But then you're like, this training might break into these parts. This module might wind up being its own course or its own thing, yada,
Right.
yada. Okay. So let me go back into here. All right. So in a course, we've got all of our courses, right? Big picture. Here is my admin dashboard. Here's my list of courses, both published and unpublished. And within a course, I'm going to have all of my content. And the main place we're thinking about for this organization question, Dominic, is step 3, because that is where I'm holding all of my content. And if I open up step 3, I'm going to see my modules and trainings. Just for an example, let's add a module 2. And that's going to have more trainings. My internet is very slow. Okay. So here's the first thing to know. With any module or any training, on this little menu over here, we've got options for moving things around. I don't know if you've seen all of this, Dominic.
Not
But
all of it yet.
if I'm like, all right, I've got a module that's working here, but I want to do it in a different way, I could either copy or move this entire module to another course.
Okay.
Obviously, copy, leave a version here or not. Within the module, I've got my trainings, and I've got lots of options here. This is showing up twice, and that doesn't need to be there. I was looking at that, but basically I can copy it to a different module in the same course or move it. I can switch it to the replay section in this course. So thinking about like moving things around and organizing them in different ways. I've got like my core modules and trainings. I've got my replays. I've got my bonuses. All of this is really flexible, and you can move things and organize things however it makes sense for your use case. And as we saw, if I want to just move it into an entirely new course, one thing I could do is just create a brand new course. I'm going to use the new blank course template. So here's my brand new course, and I can simply move my modules, my trainings, parts of my trainings, my replays into an entirely different course. Does that
Well,
make
I
sense so
really
far?
like this because you can actually see things real time as you're thinking about it in your head. It gives you something tangible to actually see and to witness, that you don't have to recreate the wheel. and you
Mhm.
can just move parts and then just modify the update in the new course and such. And I think that's amazing. Thank you so much for asking that question, Dominic, and for showing us this. This is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Glad that helps. Yeah. So we've got, again, these different sections. We can move them between. One thing to keep in mind is that you can also, when we say copy or move to a module, that can also include the bonus sections. So if I have a training that's in my regular trainings and I'm like, this actually isn't core content, this actually should be more of a bonus, I can move it over to the bonuses, and you'll just do that by selecting copy to a module and selecting one of the bonus modules. In fact, I bet that's what this is about. Yeah, I think that's what's happening with the duplicates. So does that make sense? You can move it to bonus, just the bonuses are also called modules. So just look for the bonus module and move it there.
Got it.
So that's like the basic structure of how you move and swap and play with things. Questions about that, Dominic, or?
Just a quick question. So let's say I'll have my first iteration on the course and I do play around with it and make changes and decide that maybe the best way to do it is create a second course, which is the same course, but the next second iteration. Um, the how can you then move all your students from one course to another? Is there a procedure to do that? Or do you have to
Sure,
kind of,
sure, yeah. If I go to my students section, I can filter by course. Grab all of the students in one course. And if I'm just moving a group of students from one to another course, that's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to select all of them. Notice that whenever you select a group of students, you're going to select all the ones on this page, but it's also going to say, hey, you might actually want to select all 12, right? The whole list. So make sure you do that. And then we're going to go to this menu here, batch select. And we are going to add them to a course. And I'm going to select maybe everybody in the last cohort would go into the new cohort, and I would just move them. If I have a welcome email already set up and already turned on, then as soon as I add people to the course, assuming the welcome email was triggered by added to course, they will immediately get their welcome email with their login information and magic link for the new course.
okay, so they will have
Congratulations.
to change. They will have new login information to do
Oh,
that.
great question. So logging in is always done by course. So a student is going to have, I'm just going to use test student here rather than, a student is always going to have a magic link and login information for each course. So if I were to go to a student profile, and open up a student and look at the courses that this student is in. Over here on this menu, this is just in case I need to help a student get into a course, I would find the magic link for this course for this student. So the student has 4 different magic links. And the way it works like that is because the magic link always takes the student right into the home page of the course. That's the easy way for them to just get in and get into their course. And then from there, keep in mind, if you have your sidebar turned on, then I'm not sure if I have it on in this account right now. I go to my account section, by the way. Here's my sidebar. And I go to the school section and I opt to show the sidebar. If I have this on, then over here on the left-hand side, anytime a student is logged into one course, they'll have the option to hop into another course right here. So that is, in my opinion, the best way to help them easily hop between courses. Show you what it looks like here. And this one has a mess of them because it's all the test courses, but here's what your student would see just for the courses they were a member of. And if you have this turned on, you could have a little icon right here to your earlier question that also takes them to the community forum. And that's just optional if you want that one on or not. That's separate from the option of having all of the course icons.
Great.
Make
Thank you.
sense? Mhm.
Yeah. Looks good. That would be helpful.
Cool. Does that feel like a good start for how to move things around and
Yes. Yes, thank you.
build courses? All right. Okay. Let's look at oh, that's interesting. It's showing me last week's comments. Okay. All right. So Chris is dealing with what happened with automations. Emails are not firing. Okay. All right. Let me walk you through exactly how to approach this. And again, this is going to be easier once this AI tool is finished that will do a lot of this for you. But right now, Chris is saying I have an issue where the automation is on, but it's not firing. So again, bottom line here is that I unfortunately cannot give you a definite answer about this because I can't see everything that has happened. All the pieces, including when you might have turned it on or off, when you might have changed things, whether somebody had a tag at the time that it fired, etc. And most automation issues come down to something like that, like the student didn't really have the tag that they needed before it fired, or someone on your team had turned something off and on or had modified it. I'm going to show you where to find most of your answers. And that's going to be in the student's activity log is going to be the first place you're going to go. Actually, let me back up and just look at a couple like best practices overall for how to manage and understand and sort automation questions. And it starts with always naming your automations. And this is why this is important. So in step 5, I have automations. And for example, this one has a title of student welcome email. So that's super clear what it is. This test thing I was playing around with has a title of new automation March 17th. That's going to mean nothing to me, most likely, when I look at an activity log. So anytime I create an automation, best practice is that the very first thing I want to do is give that automation a name that I will recognize. So I'm going to do that right here. And maybe this is add a tag when student unsubscribes. And that won't let me. Okay. In the chat. Looks like there's another comment. Oh, that's just Chris talking to Lisa. Okay. So that's the first thing to know is that you want to add a recognizable name to your automation and also to the actions within the automation because it's the same thing. Each automation and each action is going to have a name, and I want to be able to recognize it and have something that means something to me. So I've got that name. Now I've got a situation where something happened and I don't know why. First thing I'm going to do is head to the activity log of a student who something happened or didn't happen in a way I didn't expect. So I'm going to go to my student section. I'm going to search for the student. And I'm going to open up that student's profile. And there's some information here. There's the courses that we looked at, tags and badges, but what I want is the activity log right here. So I'm going to click to open up the activity log. And this is going to give me a running list of everything that has happened for this student. The first thing to know is that since this is going to be a lot of information, especially if they're in multiple courses, I can sort this to look at just one course that the student is in. That's going to make it much more doable. So now I'm just looking at the Certified Expert Program course, and it's going to give me a running list that says things like the experience called Week 9 Reminder started. The trigger was date and time. Then this happened. The automation called Week 9 Reminder. And the email called Reminder Call Week 9 was sent to the student. Here's the email address it was sent to. And here is the course we're talking about. If it didn't run for some reason, in most cases, it's going to tell me why. Let's see if I have an example of that. Oh, by the way, it's also going to show me like their answers to questions. If they filled out a response to something, it's going to show me that. It's going to show me the tag that they got because they answered a specific multiple choice question. This is a little beyond Chris's question, but I just want to show you all the information you can get in here. And right here, we have an example of some helpful info. The new automation March 11th experience was completely skipped because it wasn't turned on. So I forgot to turn that one on, and the activity log will tell me what happened. It's going to tell me down here the course that we're talking about. There's the name of my course. And it's going to tell me the automation we're talking about. And again, this is why I should have named this automation, because a date probably isn't helpful to me, but if I had called it something meaningful, I would see exactly what was going on. Over here, we've got the time that this happened, and this is based on the time zone of my account. Whatever I have my account set to is this time. And so this here is the first place to go when something doesn't work as you expect. Yes, it's a lot of information. That's why we're building this AI tool to help sort through it in the ways that machines can be helpful to do and go through all of the info. But this is where the answers are to, I'm gonna say 98, 99% of what happened. Either the email was sent or it wasn't sent. If it was sent, but they didn't receive it, that's a different issue. And that's a really important question to look at too, is what happened? Did the email not get sent, or did it get sent, but it didn't land in their inbox? and that's a completely different place to troubleshoot. But let me hop over to Chris, and Chris, let me know if this is all making sense so far. I totally get that automations can be a chore to sort through and understand. But let me know how all of this is looking and landing so far.
Hey, Rachel, yes, thanks so much. And first of all, I just want to say thank you and the entire Expensify team.
Yeah.
This is I'm actually using the full how to say potential of this platform. I'm really seeing the benefits of it. So thank you and thank the team so much. Yeah. So what has happened? Your explanation is really awesome. And what is happening? I would set an automation to fire at 1 p.m.
Okay.
1 p.m. passes, it's on the at each level, the email is on, the
Mhm.
automation, the upper level is on, and the other thing is like three things need to be toggled on. They're all on.
Okay,
I
great.
refresh when I set it, I refresh the page.
Okay, great.
1 p.m. passes,
Mm-hmm.
nothing happens. I go to the automation, everything is off
Okay.
on its own, right? So I reset the time. I reset like 30 minutes, like so I reset like for 1:45 now. So initially it's 1 p.m. I noticed it didn't trigger. I reset the trigger time to 1:45. Everything is on. I refresh the page. 1:45 comes and goes. Nothing happens. I check the automation. It's off.
Got
I
it.
left
Got
it
it.
on.
Okay. I'm tracking
Yeah,
with you
and I
now.
refresh
Yeah.
it. So I refresh again for I set the time again for like 2:30.
And you keep doing the
Everything
same
is on
thing?
here, and
Yeah.
then it fires. Now it fires. After the third
Oh,
time it fires.
got it.
Right?
Okay, gotcha.
So
So,
that's
gotcha.
one. The second thing happened yesterday. Everything is on. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
fire.
Okay.
And I use myself as a test student. This is case two. I removed myself. I re-added myself. This time the automation is to fire on how to say on enrollment. So the
Okay.
first time is a future date and time. The second
Yep.
scenario is when added to the course. So I
Mm-hmm.
add myself, nothing happens. I remove
Mm-hmm.
myself, refresh both pages, the automation and the thing. I add
Mm-hmm.
myself again, nothing happens. I
Mm-hmm.
remove myself, I add myself. So I said, let me leave it. And so I add myself, I leave it maybe almost an hour after, then I get the confirmation email that you've been registered. So there's
Gotcha.
a huge, so normally within a couple of seconds, I'm added,
Yep. Yep.
I add myself, and within a couple of seconds, an email is there. Now I'm seeing like a huge delay.
Yep.
So it's two things happening. So thanks so much.
Totally. Awesome. All right. Thank you for all of that, Chris, and thank you for spelling that out. And you've hit on like about 5 different potential scenarios that are all really good things to know. So thank you for all that. And let me go through these and give you the straight answer on all of it. First, I want to totally validate that what you're seeing is like you're not crazy. And I have totally experienced the same thing where I have set an automation and refreshed, but then when I left the page and came back, it was toggled off. I am going to suggest that you do that, leave and come back to the page as a part of your setting it up, especially if you are setting something up for like 15 minutes in advance, which you were saying. Like the bottom line is just give yourself an extra check. This is just on the very first issue that you mentioned, which is you navigated away, came back, and it was toggled off. Just do an extra refresh or two, do an extra check, and make sure that it is really toggled on. One thing is you could have multiple pages open, you could have different places you're working in, your browser could be saving something. So the bottom line is that we want to make sure an automation is really on and ready to go. I mean, you could technically like log out of the platform and log back in, but I don't know if that far is necessary. But basically, I just want to validate what you're saying, like this does happen. And the answer to this first one of it like not being toggled on is most likely just an extra refresh or log out and back in or close out some extra pages because something just didn't get saved. So that's the first thing you've run into. And the answer to that one is like do another level of checking and refreshing. And if you need, like log out and come back. Does that one make sense so far? And then we'll go on to like the next 4 things that happened. But and these are all legit. Like these are all some of just the quirks and things you can run into. Okay, great. So yes, there are so many levels with something like this that can be going on because we've got things that can be happening at the browser level. We've got things just not saving. We've got internet connection slowing or dropping for a moment that may delay something. We have platform issues that could delay something, server issues. We have the humans here making mistakes in how we set things up. So there's a lot of levels to look at, but the first one was something was toggled off, do an extra round of like whatever you need to do to triple check and make sure it is really saved. And if necessary, log all the way out and log all the way back in. That will be your final answer, your bottom line.
Rachel, I have a question with that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So in other places when you're doing I guess publishing or working on updating a website and whatever, there's always a save button. Wouldn't it be helpful to have like if you hit save button on the page that you're actually working on once you've made any kind of change and you hit save that would trigger a save within the system as opposed to what he was doing like refreshing?
Potentially. And then many places in the platform there are. In some there are not. Some of it's auto saved and some of it is a save button. That's a great question, and I don't have a quick answer for you on that one at the moment because it kind of gets into more technical platform setup that I want to go down rabbit holes of in a second. But thank you for bringing that forward. And by the way, we've got a feature request list where you are always really encouraged to put in any and all the things that you think would make the platform better. And there is no doubt validity to what you're saying here. So if that's okay to put that much of a pin in what you're saying there, Dominic, I want to acknowledge that.
That's fine. Thank you. I just was wondering.
Yeah. So Chris mentioned a few more things going on. One of them was that there was a delay in sending. That's legit as well. Team is looking at this right now because I have also seen this. And we're talking here like in the 30-minute realm-ish. There's been times where there's been a bit of a delay. Team is looking at that right now and making some major updates on the back end and the memory side of things to make sure things send immediately rather than with a bit of a delay. Delays in emails are another thing that could have a lot of levels of things going on because it also could be sent on time at the platform level, but delayed in your student's email server. So there's different levels that can happen. With all these things, this is why you always want to come back to the activity log. And while it's not perfect, I want to acknowledge it's going to give you like 99% of the information that you need. So if an email was received late, my first question would be, was it sent late? Or did something happen on the student's email server level? Same thing with a question of whether it was received at all. The most important question here is, did it actually get sent, or did it not get sent, or did it get sent but get caught in a filter or stuck in an inbox, or just a hard bounce from the student's email server? Because remember, there are things going on at the level of email servers that the platform doesn't control, and that's the bottom line with any tool or any platform. We can send the email out, but ultimately, a platform can't guarantee that something is going to land in an inbox, because there are too many things happening on the level of the email server itself that is not in the platform's control. So to bring this back to what you can control and what is your job as the course creator, come to the activity log and get the information about what actually happened at the platform level. Was the email actually sent? Was it sent on time? If it was not, again, in most cases, you're going to see a reason right here. Most common reasons would be it wasn't turned on. Another very, very common reason would be, let me go over to an experience to show you what I'm talking about here. Remember that when we set up an experience, all right, I'm going to create a new automation right now. I'm going to do date and time. It's going to be for tomorrow at 9 o'clock my time. Right here, we got some conditions in any experience. This is probably the next most common thing, especially when it comes to testing your own course. Because one thing people tend to do is use the same email to test over and over again. So if you have an experience set up to run once only, it's only going to run once per student. Great thing to do when you're testing, not just for this, but in general, use a new email. And y'all know you can do that in almost every email system by adding a plus sign and additional characters to your regular email address. Is everybody familiar with that? If my email, okay, this is a really good way to test. You can use a fresh, a quote unquote new email address every single time you retest your course without having to have an actual new address. So if my address is rachel@experienceify.com, I can create an email. In fact, let me do that. I'm going to add a new student to test right now because I've just made a course and I want to make sure this course runs as expected. Oh, you know what? I don't want to write this whole thing because YouTube likes to take down videos if I put too much personal information. My email is I'm going to add some characters, XYZ. I could add March 26th. And then I'm going to continue with @experienceify.com. This right here is going to be considered a new email in XP. So if we go back to my automation here, hopefully YouTube won't take that down. If we go back to my automation, I'm creating a new automation, create from scratch. I'm setting up a future date and time. This experience is allowed to run once only. Even if I have that toggled on, my student I just created, Rachel plus XYZ, is considered a brand new student. So even though Rachel at Experienceify might have run through this course 1,000 times, Rachel plus XYZ is brand new. Does that make sense to test? So do that to test, but also know that if an email didn't run, this is a very, very likely reason why is that it was set up to run just once and it already fired for that student. That information is also going to be in the student's activity log. All right, I am remembering that Lisa had a quick question I want to hit, and I also want to just tell Chris and everyone how to send info into the support desk if there are still things that are not looking right, even when you've considered you've already, this is the first bottom line. If something didn't work right, go to the activity log of the student, find out what happened. And in 99% of cases, it's going to give you some kind of information. It didn't run because it wasn't turned on. It didn't fire because it already fired for this student, etc. If that doesn't explain it, I'll tell you what information to send to the support desk, but let me just answer. Lisa asked, can you distinguish between tags and badges? Like what they are, Lisa? Like, you want me to just explain what they are? I think
Yes,
that's
because in my mind, they sort of sound like the same thing, but I'm guessing that tags are something that trigger an action on my, um, on the creator's
yeah,
side, and badges are something that shows up for the students. Is that right?
it is. Yeah,
Okay.
badges are a student-facing thing that show up like in the forum mainly, or when they post a comment, and it's a piece of recognition for the
Okay.
student. Yeah,
Can,
and tags
can,
do all kinds of amazing things on the back end for you as the course creator.
and those are found again under the course content. Is that right?
Good question. So
Ah,
they're found,
I remember
they're
seeing
found,
that, and I was just like,
excellent question.
thanks.
Because they are found all over the place. Like,
Okay,
but the
great,
bottom
great.
line is you could go to account right
Okay.
here, and you could
Yeah.
go to tags and you could see them all. But the reason I'm laughing, not at you, but at like
Yes.
the
It's
question
okay.
is because you can also add them on the fly anywhere that you are building an automation or
Okay.
building an action. When you
Gotcha.
are like setting something up, you can actually just make it up on the spot right there and create a new tag. When you're like, I'm going to build an automation and I don't have the tag yet, so I'm just gonna make it
Oh
up
boy.
right now. And there's Lisa's tag. So once I've
And
done
then
that,
that is something that XP and or Go Plus recognizes and can pull from. Is that how it batches different things?
exactly. And
Okay.
another really important thing is that they sync between your account in XP and your account in Go Plus. So if you
Okay.
add a tag to a student in XP, within a few minutes, it's going to be added to your student in Go Plus as well, and vice versa.
And are there tags that are added automatically?
Only if you used one of the course templates that is
Okay.
already designed to do all kinds of fancy things.
Good to know. That's where I'll start then for the next. I'm all about I know that there's so much that both this and Go Plus do, and I'm like, okay, we'll have to put the time and energy into learning it. Duh. But start with things that are already created instead of recreating the wheel. So if there's templates for the courses, which I have seen, I'm going to start there.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent point. And I think the other thing to remember is to keep it to the
Simple.
size of what you need. Like
Yes.
you don't need to learn every feature in all these. You need what your course needs,
Yeah.
and you can do a
Okay.
lot with a few cool little features that can be
Yeah.
easy. So
Yep.
um,
That sounds
get your
great.
students having a great experience
Mhm.
as quickly and easily as possible, and then keep adding more fun stuff, I think is the best way
Sounds
to go.
great.
All right, fantastic stuff, you all. Before we sign off, and I know people may have to hop off at the top of the hour, but I want to make sure, um, you know, if you are still running into automation issues and you've looked at the activity log, you've found the information, and something looks wrong, you're like, that doesn't add up. Something is happening that's not right here. And an example would be it sent, if you found the entry in the activity log and said the email was sent at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't actually sent till 12 o'clock, that would be an example of something you could send into the support desk. And to do that, here's how I'm going to ask you to do it to allow the team to get all the information that's needed, because without really specific information, it's just not possible to solve something like this with so many potential pieces and layers and timing of things that could have happened. It's going to be absolutely essential to have a full set of info. So let me just go to this real quick. All right, I'm just looking at the chat, but that looks different. If we go to our help center here, and I'm going to click on the help center and I'm going to search for automations. And there's a doc that's going to come up called Troubleshooting Automations. Just want to show you this doc real quick. A couple of things. There is a tutorial here that I've made that's just going to walk you through everything we talked about and more, as far as here's exactly where to look and how to figure out what's happening, and also how to fix things if your student didn't get an email. You can always you can always manually trigger anything you need to happen. Unlocking a training, sending an email. So if something didn't happen as expected, this doc will show you how to set it up. You can do that with a tag, real easy. And here is your final step. If you have done all this and you're like, something's clearly not right, I need the support team to get involved. This is the info here that you want to send. And to make sure you do it all, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and actually just copy and paste this.
Yep.
That just ensures that that steps don't get missed, because otherwise, in like most of the time, people don't send one of these, and then it's not possible to solve it. So the email address of your account, the name of the course, the automation that didn't fire, you can send a screenshot, like we were just in step 5, looking at, a welcome email, looking at an automation for a tag. You can give the name or send a screenshot. And this is the really important thing, you guys. If you're sending in an automation issue to the support desk, send one issue at a time. Please don't send a list and go, a bunch of stuff is happening, like this and that and that and that for all of these students here. Because straight up, we cannot troubleshoot that. There's no possible way to troubleshoot an automation outside of a specific case for a specific student. And this is the kicker, because since XP is so, it's so possible to customize for each student, there's no such thing as just, if an automation didn't fire, it has to be looked at in the context of a student who it didn't fire for, because that's going to hold the answers. Maybe the student already got it. Maybe the student didn't have the tag. Maybe the student joined the course after the initial trigger fired. But just saying an automation didn't fire outside of a student to look at is not, we need that full piece of information to be able to get the bottom line of what happened. Does that make sense? So the best way to send a thing in is send all of this info, send one automation, and send one sample student. If it was a bunch, just send one and say a bunch, but here's one. And if you have multiple issues, please go ahead and just send a separate list of these specifics. Because again, if it's all kind of jumbled together, we're not going to be able to get the level of clarity we need to tell you exactly what happened. So this is what we need: email, course, specific automation, what you expected. I expected training 3 to unlock on March 26th at 11 a.m. And what happened? The training is still locked. So it needs to be that specific, you see, because automations are that specific. Like they work at a particular time because of a particular reason for a particular student. And so we've got to have like the exact example of something that didn't happen to be able to tell you why things didn't happen. So that is that's my spiel on what to send us. And you guys, I know this is a lot, and I know that, you know, looking at these automations can be a lot, and it can be kind of a pain. And again, that's why I'm excited. We're building this AI tool to make it much easier. But at the end of the day, we got to get all this info to get to clarity. So that was a lot. How are we doing?
Good.
How's
Great,
things
thank
going?
you.
Thank you for hanging in with all of that. And I hope you all have a fantastic week.
Yes.
Let me know how everything goes. And I will talk to you soon.
Okay, great. Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Take
Have a
care.
great week. Bye, guys.